What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope everybody having a great day so far. I am. Anyway, today's episode of General Hospital, real good. I liked it. I'm still curious though about what the hell was Heather Weber like. What is in that Edward's will, that could help AJ? That's what I'm trying to figure out, but I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to all that later. Let me talk about some people first to get this out the way. Sam and John McBain. John McBain just gives me a headache on this show. I'm sorry, but I'm just ready for him to go. Somebody said that he signed a 3-year contract with General Hospital. Please terminate that contract. He sucks on this show. I'm sorry, but he lacks energy, like enthusiasm. Like he just don't have it. Like he's like a zombie. Like, like it's like he don't have no facial expression, just one, and he just gives off this vibe like he don't really care about the storyline, or he's bored with it. That's the kind of vibe I get from him. Like, why are you on the show? Hop on a plane or whatever and take your ass back to Landview somewhere. Like, seriously, you're just boring. And I hope they're not really thinking about hooking him up with Sam, because I just don't want to see him with Sam. They're boring together. And it's obvious Sam ain't ready to be with nobody anyway. I mean, come on, she still wears her wedding ring. Like, obviously she ain't ready to move on. It's gonna be a while before she probably is ready to move on. Anyway, moving on. I don't really want to talk about them, because there was really nothing to talk about with Sam and John today. I do understand why Sam wants revenge or whatever. She just wants Todd to pay. I could understand that. Justice needs to be served, I guess. But anyway, Todd and Johnny. Oh my God, the bickering between them two back and forth is just ludicrous. Johnny talking about Todd gonna get 10 to 20 years in Pettonville. I'm like, Johnny, I wouldn't sound so sure of myself. The only reason why Johnny is sure Todd is gonna go to prison is because of his 2 witnesses. What jury in their right mind, or a judge for that matter, is gonna believe a mob boss's witnesses who happens to work for him? Who's gonna believe them to? I wouldn't if I was a judge or a jury member. I wouldn't believe them. Come on, like, they work for Johnny ZACCHARA, a guy who happens to be a former mob boss or a mobster who hates Todd Manning. So why the hell would they believe them? And everybody know Todd is downright crazy. And what's funny is how Todd mentioned his DID. Remember, he tried, he used DID back in the day to get out of going to prison. Remember his alter rod? That shit was so funny. And Mrs. Perkins. Todd is fucking crazy. Talking about Mrs. Perkins is the gatekeeper. I'm like, Todd, only you. I swear, with fake DID. I remember that storyline like it was yesterday on One Life to Live, when Todd faked DID. Remember I don't know if y'all remember this, but remember he was in the penthouse and he had the fireplace and he was with Taya. Taya was staying at his penthouse and he was pretending that he was Rod. And remember he pulled out a stack of money and stuff like that, and he didn't know where he got the money. I was like, that storyline was just so funny. I remember it like it was yesterday. I love that storyline. Todd is a fucking nut. And he act like going to Ferncliff is going to be a piece of cake. I'm like, okay, Todd. You'll be surprised at who you bump into at Ferncliff, because you're about to bump into Heather Weber. I got the funny feeling. Trust me. He's going to bump into Heather Weber at Ferncliff. Anyway, Carly. I'm maybe not a big fan of Carly, but let me tell you something. She was working it today. Carly looked good with her hair shorter and stuff like that. She was looking good. Carly was definitely looking good. Felix. Oh my God. Felix is the highlight of this show. Like, seriously. The advice that he gives people is so dead on. Like, he's so blunt with it, and that's what I like. He's very, very blunt with his advice. And I like, you know, people who speak their mind. I love that about him. The advice that he gives Carly and Sabrina is so spot on, and it's like, I think he should be getting paid for his advice. Honestly, I think he should definitely be getting paid for his advice. I honestly think he should. Like when he told Sabrina that she need to let her hair down, take off them glasses, boost her breast up, you know, start showing her cleavage and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that is so true. Like, she need to start, you know, showing Patrick what he missing. You know what I mean? Like, she really do need to start doing that. Like, instead of dressing all nerdy all the time, like, you know, build up your self-esteem, your self-confidence and stuff like that. She's a beautiful woman. But I think she could even look more beautiful when she gets a makeover. Like, she's going to look like a doll. Like, seriously. She really do needs to boost up her self-esteem, because I think it's very low. And she thinks low of herself. Because she feels like a guy like Patrick Drake wouldn't want to be with somebody like her. I'm like, why wouldn't he? There's nothing wrong with you. You're smart, you're cute, you're fun to be around. You know, you're a good person, you got a good heart. Who wouldn't want that? You know, his daughter adores you, so why wouldn't he want to be with you? You just need to start putting yourself out there a little bit. That's the thing about love. I'm not saying that she love him or nothing like that, but that's the thing about being in a relationship. It's like being in a relationship is like being, you know, going into business. You need to take risks. It's like being an entrepreneur. You need to take calculated risk. You know what I mean? Because every relationship, there's a risk that you're going to get your heart broken, that, you know, there's always risk. You just need to put yourself out there. And I think that's what she needs to do. But Felix did give some good advice, though, because he was like, you know what y'all need, her and Carly need, is to get new men. Stop gushing over the men that y'all think that don't want you, or claim that they don't want you, or act like they don't want you, and just get y'all somebody new. I agree. And Carly talking about, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I'm like, Carly, shut up. You know you want a man. Shut up. You was just straight up lying to yourself. Carly, you are the type of person, you can't go 5 minutes being by yourself. Please. Because she gawks over any men that blink their eye at her. Trust. But she was working that dress. But I agree, though. I just feel like she just needs to, you know, be smarter when it comes down to relationships. That's my only problem with Carly, really, when it comes down to men. It's like she needs to really take her time in getting to know them and stop rushing into a relationship. You don't need to become boyfriend, girlfriends with somebody that you only known a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a month. Why don't y'all take y'all time? You know, you got to be friends before you could be lovers. Because I think if you're friends first and you know everything about each other, it makes life a little bit more easier when y'all take the next step into becoming a couple. Because you know about each other. You know the truth about each other. Not no bullshit ass secrets and lies, but you know the downright truth. And that's what, you're only going to know the truth about somebody if you know them long enough. If you really take the time to get to know them. That's what I think Carly needs to do. And I think if Sabrina really wants to be with Patrick, you should really put yourself out there. You know what I mean? Really put yourself out there and try to go after him. At least until Robin get back. I don't care who be with Patrick, honestly. As long as they get him away from that bitch. Dr. Britt gets on my ever-loving nerves. If you could get him away from her, I would be happy with that. But, anyway, on another note, I'm happy that Carly signed the contract to give them the nurses' ball. I mean, to let them use the Metro Court ball for the nurses' ball. I'm happy that she did that. When Felix mentioned AJ, you could tell Carly still hung up on AJ a little bit. I don't give a fuck what AJ did, what crime he committed back in the day. You can tell in her eyes she was blushing a little bit. She knows she still got there's still some heat between her and AJ, and she know it. She know damn well it is. She still cared for AJ more than she's letting on. She know at one point when she was with AJ back in the day, she know damn well her feelings for him were real. As much as she tried to play it off and pretend like it's not. Please, bitch. You know you want you some AJ. Stop playing. She knows she do. Carly knows she do. Carly just likes to, you know, bullshit around. But she knows what she want at the moment. And I'm telling you, there's still a spark between her and AJ. I'm just hoping that they don't never put them back together, because that would just be a tragedy in itself. Anyway, moving on. The conversation between Elizabeth and Patrick. Like I said, I don't like Elizabeth and stuff like that, but you know what? It's a new year. I give credit where credit is due. And I happen to agree with Elizabeth. Patrick needs to open his eyes. Like, come on, like, he talking about something, why can't none of the nurses or whatever like Dr. Britt? I'm like, it's obvious. You're the only one that don't see it. It's like, how can you not see it? You're not, like, seriously, wake up. You're not that blind. Stevie Wonder couldn't see this shit. Are you serious? That's all I'm saying. Patrick really needs to, like, take the blinders off. My thing about it is, Stevie Wonder can see that Dr. Britt is thirsty. Like, seriously, very thirsty. Like, she's a hoe. Trust me, she is that thirsty. Like, she will try to suck Patrick like he was a 40 ounce of malt liquor. Trust it. And I love the name that Felix and Sabrina called Dr. Britt Britch. I love that shit. That shit was so funny. Britch. I love that. But yeah, the bitch is thirsty. Like, seriously. And Elizabeth was spot on. Like, it's like how can Patrick not notice how Britt acts towards Sabrina and everybody else? How could you not notice? Even your daughter don't like her. So your daughter don't like her, Sabrina don't like her, Elizabeth don't like her. What does that tell you? Open your eyes. And now he's talking about letting her hang out with him and Emma, going skating or whatever like that. I'm like, seriously, Patrick, you're not this dumb. Straight up blind. And then when Dr. Britt, Bridge, went over to Elizabeth to hand her a file, talking about some Nurse Weber, talking about, I'm handing you a file, I need you to file this. I'm like, okay, just because you're a doctor, let me tell you something, you do not have the authority to boss around nobody. And like Elizabeth said, bitch, what's the magic word? It's called please. You don't just hand somebody a file telling them what to do. I'm like, you're not her boss. Technically, Epiphany is her boss, because that's the head nurse. And Elizabeth is a surgical nurse. The head nurse is in charge, so she has the order. Anyway, but when it comes down to thirsty, though, I have to admit, Elizabeth definitely know a thirsty bitch when she see one. I can tell you that much. But anyway, that scene with Epiphany and Felix was funny as shit, though. When Felix shot a turn around and run, I was like, Felix, you do not want to fuck with Epiphany. Trust me, Epiphany is crazy. Like, she will go Nino Brown on your ass. She's crazy. AJ and Michael scene, I liked it. You know, them plotting on ELQ, and I think it was a cool scene. I just can't stand how Michael say, oh, how is it going to be for me to go into business with Johnny? What are you talking about, Michael? I'm like, you're not going into business with Johnny. You're simply trying to get information out of Johnny. That's not you going into business with him. You're like, how is that going into business? You're just pumping him for some information on how to get TRACY, on how to get the evidence on TRACY. That's not considered going into business. A partnership. That's not what it is. So I'm like, calm down. Ned, seriously, Ned, you need to take your ass back to Days of Our Lives and go play Justin Kiriakis Seriously, take your ass back to Salem somewhere, because Ned is like seriously getting on my nerves. Like, but I do agree with him on this. He do need, like, Tracy do need to step aside from ELQ. Like, ELQ, when it's just consuming her. Like, seriously, it's like she claims that it's her birthright. Granted, it is your birthright, but it's AJ's birthright as well. He's a quartermain. Whether she likes it or not, AJ is a quartermain. But yet she don't want him to have the company. Tracy, and then, oh, I forgot to say, when Ned walked in the room and Tracy had that crazy look on her face, then she smiled with the fangs, with the vampire teeth. I was like, oh my god. She scared the shit out of me at first when she was making that face. I was like, yeah, she scared the shit out of me. But anyway, now she want to sit on the phone and call Sonny to help her with AJ. I'm like, how the fuck can Sonny help you? There's nothing Sonny can do. What are you gonna do? Threaten her? That's all he gonna do is probably threaten AJ. Sonny don't give a fuck about ELQ. Especially if it ain't nothing in it for him. He's not gonna help you. I just think Tracy needs to let ELQ go and find her own legacy, which is Pickle Lila. That's what her father wanted her to have. But I'm curious, what was in Edward's will that Heather Weber read and said that she knows about? But AJ said that he looked through that will more than one time and couldn't find no loophole. So I'm like, what is it that Heather read that AJ couldn't see? I'm like, what is it? I'm still curious. Probably a clause or something, a stipulation or something. But anyway, yeah, today's episode was good. Britt, I am so sick of her. She needed to dive off a cliff somewhere. I am so sick and tired of this chick. John McBain trying to transport Todd back to, well, to Ferncliff. I'm like, John, seriously? Get off the show. Like, you're not going to put Todd in prison. You never are, so bye-bye. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Have a great day.